Hello everyone, I'm Matthew Johnson and I'm the Director of Undergraduate Studies in the History Department here in Durham. I'd like to use this video to tell you a little bit about our department, about who we are, what we do, and about how you might study history as part of a combined honours degree. History is one of the bigger departments in the university, and I suppose the first thing to flag up is just how diverse and wide-ranging our curriculum is. We cover history all the way from the fall of the Roman Empire to the late 20th century and beyond. Geographically, we cover Britain and Europe, the Americas, and we have particular strengths in African history, South Asian history, and East Asian history. We have specialists in political history, in social and cultural history, in economic history, intellectual history, religious history, architectural history, art and visual culture, the history of gender and sexuality, and the history of science and technology. And I think that this range and breadth of coverage is something that really sets us apart, even from other leading history departments in the country. And if you want to come and study history at Durham, and especially if you want to study it as part of a combined honours degree, you have an enormous amount of choice and freedom in terms of the modules you take and the history you study. So you might look for natural synergies between different disciplines. You might look to combine modules in archaeology with some of our history options on the early medieval world. Or you might look to combine modules in politics with history modules focusing on political history. Thinking about themes that really interest you, but approaching them from different methodological perspectives. But you're also free to do the exact opposite and to pick history modules that are radically different in theme or content from modules you take from other departments. And it's this freedom and flexibility that I think is one of the big selling points in the combined honours degree. So how does this work in practice? As a combined honours student, every year you have the option of taking a certain number of credits in history. And we offer different types of module worth different numbers of credits at different stages in the degree. In the first year of the degree programme, what we call level 1, you'll normally have the option of taking up to 3 history modules. And our modules at level 1 usually cover a fairly broad geographical and chronological span. So you might take a module on the late antique Mediterranean world, or one on the social, cultural and religious history of early modern Europe. Other level 1 modules include one on the rise and fall of American slavery, a module on power in Africa, and another called Imagining East Asia. And these modules are taught through a small team of specialists within the department, and they're taught through a combination of lectures and small group seminars, so 10 students or fewer in a seminar, and they're taught over 2 terms. At level 2, it's a little bit different. Our second year modules are taught more intensively. They're taught within a single term rather than across 2 terms, and they're designed with an emphasis on depth rather than breadth of coverage. So this is a chance to really dig down into a topic that interests you with a leading specialist in the field. And there are a lot of options, a lot of choices at level 2, usually between 30 and 35 modules. And just to give you a handful of examples, we offer modules on early medieval Iberia. There's a module called Selling the Tudor Monarchy, a module on Black British history, a module on modern China's transformations, one on American prisons and policing, and another on the US and the Cold War. At level 3, it's different again. And here we offer 2 different types of module. The first gets you to think in depth about a big historical theme, for example, religion in Africa, or empires and states in Asia, or the idea of revolution in history. The other type of module at level 3 we call a special subject. And each of these is taught in a single small seminar group, which meets for 3 hours every week throughout the academic year. And these modules typically relate, even more than their other modules, to the current research projects of the tutors who teach them. So as such, they offer you a chance to work at the cutting edge of historical research. And there's a big emphasis on using primary sources in these types of modules. I teach one myself on Britain and the Great War. Other examples include a module on the Black Death. There's one on the late medieval city, one on the American Civil War and Reconstruction, a module on South Africa's liberation struggle, and one which is an animal history of colonial Asia. So a huge amount of variety and choice. Finally, you have the option of writing an undergraduate dissertation in history. This is a 12,000-word project which you design. You develop it, you research it yourself with support and guidance from a supervisor who'll be meeting with you one-to-one throughout the final year of the degree. And for many students, a dissertation is really the capstone of the degree. It's a chance to work and sort of prove yourself as an independent and original scholar. So, as I say, an enormous amount of choice, an enormous amount of freedom, all sorts of ways you can put together a combined knowledge degree that includes a history component. Thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been useful. I hope it sounds interesting. And I hope that we'll be able to welcome many of you to Durham to study with us in the near future. Thanks.